everybody, my name is Phoenix Fire here and welcome to Pokemon Shield. Now this is going to be a different video slash playthrough. Yes, this is Pokemon Shield with bird Pokemon only. So let's get started, shall we? So after seeing some fireworks and getting introduced to Chairman Rose, he tells us about the Galar region, introduces us to a new Pokemon of the region, and showing us some of the birds we can catch. We get introduced to the Pokemon champion Leon and his Charizard. He introduces us to his Charizard, who he says can Dynamax, but really it's Gigantamaxing. And then after seeing a lovely view of our house and getting introduced to Leon's younger brother Hop, we then have a look at the starters that we're never going to use. So yeah, I decided to go ahead and pick Scorbunny, meaning that Hop will pick Grookey, probably one of the easiest for us to fight out of all of them because we are using birds after all, and of course Grookey is a grass type. And I don't give him a nickname because, yeah, we're not going to be using him for that long. Yeah, one fist bump later, we make our way to Route 1 after having about 20-minute tutorial and then some magical sheep blocks away. But luckily though, we've got our first Pokeball, so we managed to run into our first flying bird Pokemon, Rookidee. And I managed to catch her okay. And I call my first Pokemon Violet. So then after finding a potion and making our way through the rest of Route 1, we get introduced into the Pokemon Lab by Leon, where we get introduced to Professor Magnolia, and then the Professor's assistant, Sonia, that gives us our first Pokedex, so then we can actually get this run started. So then after receiving our Pokedex, we make our way up to Hop, who introduces us to the Pokemon Center, and then I deposit Scorbunny back into the box, but I also have a surprise for you guys. Which is that if we go over to box 2 here, I did, with the power of Pokemon Home, I did manage to bring over Sushi, Biscuit and Pringle. That we're going to be starting off our official bird-only Pokemon run right here, folks. So let me just get them out of the boxes. And then we can make our way through to the rest of the town. And then after running into a load of trainers along Route 2, we meet Professor Magnolia. Our Pokemon get healed up by Leon, and of course as usual Hop wants to battle. So of course we take him up on his offer, and because this is our first battle against Hop, I'm going to take you through it. Everyone else I'm not going to because we might kick his ass. Let's see, Biscuit's out first, so of course I'm going to go with a Peck, because Biscuit just learned that, and of course it has stab damage. It does quite a bit of damage to Wooloo, and it just comes back at us with a weak tackle. So we're going for another Peck, which finishes the Wooloo off. Sorry, buddy. The Hop sends out a bird Pokemon of his own, which is a Rookidee. And of course we do another Peck attack, which really one-shots it. It retaliates with a Peck of his own, which does stronger damage than Wooloo's tackle. So of course we just do another Peck, which takes him down as well. And then of course just Hop's Grookey left, who we take down with a quick Peck. And then there goes the battle. Sorry Hop, maybe better next time. Then after we found something falling from the sky, Hop picks it up like it's no big deal. He gives one to me. We get a Dynamax band from the Professor. We're finally allowed to leave and make our way across our journey. And after only a quick change of clothes, we meet Hop at the train station. We get some camping gear from both our mums, have a quick train ride, and we're finally allowed to be free into the wild area. And in the rolling fields it's snowing right now, and we get stalked by a Pidove that I would catch if it would only land. Come on buddy, get down here. There we go. Yeah, there we go. And I managed to catch him okay, and I name him Grey because yes. We make our way through the rolling hills through the snow, and then we come across the dappled grove, only to find it's harsh sunlight this time, so we can't get ourselves another bird Pokemon just yet, so I go back. We managed to make our way up these stairs to the city of Motorstoke, where we're going to be doing a load of talking, and after we heal up our Pokemon, get ourselves a new haircut, and meet a shady looking character. When after having a bit more plot thrown at us, I'm meeting these guys. Now after a few more other bits we get introduced to all the gym leaders. We get cheered out to the city and we're finally free to do our own thing. It seems like that we can't go to the Isle of Armor yet, so Hop wants to ambush us yet again with another battle. And of course we proceed to do so. He gives us his lead card, and then we're actually free to carry on with our lives and go into the first gym. And after defeating and battling a load of trainers along the way, we see that Biscuit wants to evolve. We make our way through the mine, and just when we're nearly out of the mine again, this guy wants to battle us. So we do so, as we make quick work of his team before he goes off in a huff, finally letting us leave the mine, go into Route 4 and head off to the first gym. And after doing some more stuff, we finally crawl our way to the first gym in Turffield. And now we finally make it to the first gym, where we get our first ball from the ball guy. Very important to do that. We herd a load of sheep. Sushi evolves into a beautiful Fletchinder. We prove that we're the perfect farmer. And then we finally fight off against Milo. Now his first Pokemon is this Gossifleur, so I send out Sushi. He starts off with a Flame Charge. He does over half, and Sushi gets the Speed Rose. The Gossifleur goes for round, which doesn't really do too much damage to Sushi, although Sushi's already damaged from the battles beforehand. I go for another Flame Charge, which raises Sushi's speed again. Not quite taking out the Gossifleur, surprisingly, just before he goes for Magical Leaf, which of course doesn't do hardly anything. So I go for a very quick attack to knock out his first Pokemon, Gossifleur. Now Milo sends out his second Pokemon, Eldegoss, so I decide to switch Pokemon into Biscuit now this time. Because I feel like Grass Flying is going to be helpful against Gossifleur. Milo sends out his level 20 Eldegoss as I switch it to Biscuit for the time matchups. I go in to use Peck, but not after Milo decides to Dynamax his Pokemon. And his first Dynamax turn is Max Overgrowth, which does hardly anything to Biscuit. But he does set up the Grassy Terrain, which heals us every turn. I decide to go for Peck, which still does quite a bit to the now Dynamax Eldegoss. So I decide to bait out another turn for going for Peck, and of course the Eldegoss goes for Max Strike. This time that deals quite a bit, considerably more to Biscuit this time, but it doesn't really do that much apart from lower Biscuit speed. But of course that's 2 turns now of Eldegoss's Dynamax, so I decide to switch out Pokemon again into Pringle this time. And yes, I know I probably don't need to waste turns like this with the first gym, but you never know. She goes for another Max Overgrowth, which leaves Pringle on 12 health. Ow. But luckily for us then, she decides to revert back to normal size. So then, now that we wasted that turn, I decide to go for Sushi. The Eldegoss goes for another round, leaving Sushi on 12 health now. She does restore a little bit of health thanks to the Grassy Terrain. But now I decide to go for my Dynamax turn. So now I decide to go for my Dynamax turn with a Max Flare on Eldegoss. But surprisingly, that doesn't knock it out. The Eldegoss goes for an extremely weak leafage, and of course he does heal a bit due to the Grassy Terrain, and we don't because we're of course flying and off the floor. So I just decided to go for another Max Flare. To finish the Eldegoss off. He thanks us for a most fulfilling Pokemon battle, gives us an appreciative handshake, and then we get our first piece of the puzzle. And as soon as we get out of the gym, we go to the Pokemon Center just to heal up our peeps. We head out to Route 5. We run into a wild Spritzee. We manage to catch ourselves a female Spritzee. Battle some more trainers along the way. Violet evolves into a lovely Corvisquire. After we beat up some Team Yell Grunts, we manage to get ourselves a Rotom bike. After a quick battle with Hop, we make our way to Hulberry and the second gym. So after finding the very cute gym leader Nessa, we go into the second gym, get our second ball off the ball guy, do some light puzzle solving in the gym. After battling a few trainers, now Grey evolves into a Tranquil. We go through the door, and then the second gym battle begins with Nessa, who starts off with her Goldeen. So we start off with Biscuit. And of course the first move that we're going to use is Razor Leaf against the Goldeen, as she goes for a Horn attack, which doesn't really do anything to Biscuit. Oof. And we nearly one-shot the Goldeen with a Razor Leaf. So now I think I'm going to go for a Shadow Sneak to finish off the Goldeen. And the second Pokemon is an Arrokuda, so I go for another Razor Leaf with Biscuit just after he uses Bite, which does a little bit more damage this time. But yeah, one Razor Leaf takes her down in one go. And then Nessa's going to send out her last Pokemon, which is her Dreadnought, the Water and Rock type. And of course this thing can be really, really tanky, so I go for Dynamax straight away and then going to go for Max Overgrowth. And of course she goes for a Dynamax turn, which makes Dreadnought look absolutely terrifying. But I counter that by going for a Dynamax on my own. Dynamax Biscuit. And Nessa's first Dynamax turn is Max Darkness, which doesn't really do that much to Biscuit. But it does lower Biscuit's special defense, unfortunately. But we counter-attack the Max Overgrowth, which one-shots the Dreadnought because it's quite effective against him. So after Biscuit shrinks back down, Nessa gives us a well-deserved handshake, and we get our second piece of the Gym Bash puzzle. So after healing up and realising I need a water type for the next area, I go back to the wild area and I run into a... No, not you. A Wingull! And after a few minutes I managed to catch him, and I name him Mizu. So then after that little detour, Professor Rose wants to talk to us. So after we have a really fancy meal, we go through the second mine. Bede says hello to us again, and of course he wants to know the battle. So we take him up on that offer, and we quickly take down his peeps. He has a little hissy fit before wandering off. So then after making it to the Mudstuck outskirts, we spot a Noctowl that we tried to catch, which we managed to do in a Great Ball eventually, who I call Nocturne. For now he's going to go into the box. Who I call Nocturne. And for now he's going to go into the box. Before we fight some more trainers, make our way over this very large bridge. Say hello to Marnie, who wants to have a battle with us, so of course we oblige. And the first Pokemon that she sent out is a Croagunk. So I send out Mizu first, who I've been training up. she says that there's no way she's going to lose. So I go ahead and use Wing Attack, which brings the Krogan down into the orange. The Krogan then Venoshock, which brings Mizu down just below half into the yellow. So go for another super effective Wing Attack again. And then, yep, the Krogan's knocked out. And it was a critical hit, just to add insult to injury. And then after everyone gains XP, Marnie sends in her Morpeko. So I decided to do the sensible thing and switch from Mizu into Pringle. And as I do that, Morpeko goes in for Thundershock. That would have been absolutely devastating to Mizu. But yeah, soon after she uses Thundershock, she goes into her Hangry mode, which now she's a Dark type. I asked Pringle to go for Wing Attack, but I think that she's going to attack me first, which she does with Bite, which is unusual, but yeah, now it's actually strong. Wing Attack does about 1/4 damage to the Morpeko, and that was a critical hit, so she would have done hardly anything. So of course now I'm going to swap out to Biscuit. Which is still a bit risky, but again, Biscuit's stronger than Pringle is right now. Of course, as you saw there, she went for a weak Quick Attack. So Biscuit goes for a Razor Leaf because it's the staff move now. Just after the Morpeko goes for Bite, which takes Biscuit down to about 3/4. Razor Leaf knocks Morpeko down into the red just before it changes again, so I go for another Razor Leaf. But now, before she potions so Morpeko back up into full health, which half of which Razor Leaf now knocks down, she changes to Hangry mode again and uses Bite this time, knocking Biscuit just below half. But hopefully another Razor Leaf brings down the Morpeko after all that, and it does another critical hit. So Marnie's third Pokemon is Scraggy. So I decided to keep Biscuit in, going for a Pluck this time, which one-shots her. Sorry, Marnie. So after she goes off, so the next morning she gives us Kabu's Pokemon League card and 2 Burn Heals because she feels like we might need them. And now that we've been all healed up, we make our way out of the hotel. Make our way inside the gym. We make our way into the gym challenge where we have to capture 3 Pokemon and gain 5 points. So after beating one, and catching 2, Mizu evolves. We make our way into the stadium. And then of course we start our battle with Kabu. Now his first Pokemon is a Ninetales. And my first Pokemon is the newly evolved Mizu. Yep, we got our band ready. And then of course I completely forget that Mizu's still burnt from the last one, so I just go in for a quick Water Pulse real quick. But not before the Ninetales hits us with an Ember, which would have burnt Mizu anyway. So it's kind of fortunate that we went in with that. Oof. And I managed to knock Ninetales down into yellow health just before Mizu's burnt again. So yeah, I'm going to go for another Water Pulse. And the Ninetales goes for quick attack, which is hardly anything to the now bulky Pelican. And yet we managed to take out Ninetales. Just before he senses his Arcanine. And now Arcanine is a really speedy Pokemon, and of course it has Intimidate to lower Mizu's physical attack, but that's okay because we're going to go in for another Water Pulse, which thankfully Burning doesn't have any effect over because it's special, not physical. And speaking of, Mizu is hit by a burn, we flinch and are unable to use Water Pulse because of Arcanine's bite. But of course it goes for another bite, knocking Mizu to 2 health. Mizu flinches and gets hit by the burn. So unfortunately that's Mizu out of this fight right now. Kind of annoying, but Mizu did manage to get rid of Ninetales, so good job, buddy. So right, no way am I sending out Biscuit or Violet. So now I think I'm going to send out Sushi. Now Sushi's first turn is going to be, I think I'm going to go for Acrobatics, but of course the Arcanine goes for Bite. Luckily it doesn't flinch Sushi, so we do manage to hit it, knocking it down as the yellow health. So again we're going to go for another Acrobatics. Arcanine uses Bite, so we can see what his strategy is here. And Ninetales is there to burn us, Arcanine is there to bite and maybe flinch us, and then of course his last Pokemon is this big one. But yeah, after everyone gets XP, he's about to send in his Center Scorch, which nope, I'm not going to switch out to. I know exactly what's going to happen next, so I'm going to use this turn to heal up. So I'm going to use a Super Potion on Sushi. And now of course this is where we see our first ever Gigantamax Pokemon, apart from that Charizard at the beginning of the game. This bit's really cool, so I'm going to leave it in. And now we just have to survive for 3 turns against this thing. His first move is G-Max Inferno. Oh god. Which does a little over a quarter to Sushi. But unfortunately Sushi is now hurt by the Fire Spin. So I'm going to go in for a Dynamax and go for Max Airstream. Because of course it's still part bug, so it's super effective. And for those of you wondering, number 133 is Eevee's Pokedex number. And of course Eevee is my favourite Pokemon. So we hit with that Max Airstream, but to knock Center Scorch down into the yellow. Oof. And of course because of a speed boost, which is speed raises, it goes for another G-Max Inferno, which now takes Sushi down all the way to 17 health, which was a critical hit. We unfortunately hit with a Fire Spin, so takes Sushi down to 7. So I'm going to go for another Max Airstream. And knock out the Gigantamax Center Scorch, winning us the fight. And of course getting us another badge. Sorry Kabu, maybe next time. We get yet another handshake and the fire type to our really cool jigsaw piece badge thing. Before we can heal up though, we get met by all 3 of the first gym leaders that we fought to see us off back into the wild area. Hop runs ahead and tells us that we can now go this way into the wild area to make our way to the next area. He wants to have a battle with Hop, so of course he runs off to do so. We go to the Pokemon Center to heal up and grab more stuff. I go into more of the wild area when it's snowing to run across our next bird Pokemon, which is Delibird. which are named Strawberry after we eventually catch her, before making our way through the really cool Gate of Hammerlock. And after seeing Chairman Rose in his underwear, and after Chairman Rose comes up to us in his underwear, we go into the castle. We get given a level ball from the ball guy. We have a battle against the Battle Master in the cafe. Talk to Raihan. We learn some plots from Sonia. And then we make our way to Route 6. We'll have a battle with these two because they want to disturb the sleeping Silicobra. We battle quite a few trainers along the way. Apparently we battled so hard that the rest of the footage that they have for about 25 minutes decided to be completely black like this. I have no idea why it happened. I do sincerely apologise to you guys and girls watching this. But yeah, I don't know what happened, but luckily though it's about 25 minutes of not really doing that much. Really, it's just random bits and bobs here and there that I do on the way to the next gym. Thankfully, though, it does still show us at the next gym. So yeah, hopefully you still enjoy it. And yeah, this is very annoying, but yeah. But yeah, I'll see you guys on the stream. Bye bye. Biscuit evolves. And they go yeah. And then after going past the giant Dugtrio statue, we finally made our way to Stowonside and home of the next gym. So after having a look around and healing up our Pokemon, Hop wants to have another battle, so we do so. Sorry, Hop. So after kicking his butt, we heal up at the Pokemon Center and make our way into the next gym. Get another Pokeball from the ball guy. Yeah. And then after we try not to throw up on the gym course. And then after we try not to throw up on the gym challenge. Seriously, how is this safe? Sushi evolves after we try not to throw up. Sushi evolves into a beautiful Talonflame. So then when we're done trying to be sick and fought all the trainers, we make our way through to the actual gym battle itself against Alistair, the ghost type specialist. And might I say that Alistair looks really adorable. But here we go against the next gym leader. So his first Pokemon that he says that is Yamask. So I of course start up with Violet. And Violet has some nerves, so Yamask can't eat any berries, but that's fine, because I don't think he has any. And yeah, and the first move we go for is Power Trip here. And I don't think it'll do damn much to Yamask, but we'll have to see. No, it really doesn't, because it's based off any stat changes that we have. But then because of Yamask's ability, we swap abilities. So now Yamask has a nerve. And then Yamask goes into his Hex to Violet, which does about 1/6 of her health bar. So I go ahead and use Home Claws, getting ready to do another Power Trip. Which of course raises Violet's attack and accuracy. So then Galarian Yamask goes for another Hex, which of course does another 6, bringing Violet down to nearly half damage. So now we try another Power Trip, and then I'm going to swap my peeps. Oof. And this time it brings the Yamask down to the yellow. He goes for another Hex again. Taking Violet down into the yellow this time. So yeah, this time I'm going to swap peeps into the newly evolved Biscuit. Into the newly evolved Biscuit, who looks really cool in this game. And now we do have to be careful here because Biscuit is weak to Ghost now because he's now Grass Ghost. But I'm sure we'll be fine because I'm going to go for a Razor Leaf here, which is super effective against Galarian Yamask because he's part ground type. And yep, paid off correctly because that knocks him out. Making way for Alistair's Cursor now. And the first move we're going to use with Biscuit now is going to be Spirit Shackle because 1, it'll be super effective, and 2, it looks really cool in this version of the game. Oh, and that's enough to one-shot Cursor. Okay, sorry. And now the peeps are all leveled up a bit as he sends out his Mimikyu, which of course has Disguise, so if I do go to use Pluck on him, Mimikyu will take the hit and not take any damage thanks to his ability. But of course Mimikyu races attack first of all. Then to go for the Pluck, but of course because of his Disguise ability. Yep, Mimikyu doesn't take anything. So then the next move we're going to use a Spirit Shackle again. And because that would be super effective against Mimikyu. Not before it goes for a really strong Shadow Sneak though. So yeah, as I said before, Spirit Shackle. Oof. To one-shot the Mimikyu after Disguise. Okay, now it's time for, last but not least, for Alistair's last Pokemon, Gengar. So yeah, I'm going to switch out Pokemon here. And I'm going to send in Pringle this time. Because Pringle is part normal, and of course Ghost type moves can't hit normal types. We go for a Dynamax straight away. Just before Alistair goes for his Gigantamax Gengar. And now folks, move is Max Flare, which does hardly anything to Gengar, but it does make the Sunlight turn harsh. And his first move is Max Darkness, which doesn't really do damage to Sushi. And it carries on back and forth like that until Gengar reverts back to his normal form. Unfortunately though, Sushi was knocked out, so I brought out Biscuit again, going to go for a Sucker Punch this time. And thankfully though, we are faster than Gengar, and that's enough to get the win for the next gym there. Oh, that was a tough one. So then after another handshake and another badge collected, that's it for Penny and So On side. And of course, as soon as we exit the gym, we hear a big explosion while talking to Sonia. So of course, we gotta go sort that out. So then after healing up and swapping out Sakura for Mizu again, we go up some stairs. See the beads up to no good with an old mural. Knock out his Pokemon. Which is Violet using Power Trip. He gets angry at us. Shaman Rose tells him off. Before this happens to the entire wall, sending down a big lore dump upon us. So after Sonia talks to us for a bit, so we go off to heal. So we make our way to Glenwood Tangle, where we can find a load of fairy types, but unfortunately no other bird Pokemon here, so we just make our way through. Find some items, battle a load more trainers, make our way to Ballon Leah. You're up. We give a letter that we got from a ghost girl to this old man. We have a bit more of a look around the city and then we head to the gym. And of course while I'm in here I get the all important love ball from the ball guy. We find out that the gym challenge isn't just a load of battles back to back, but also we get asked random questions, and if we get it right then we get a stat boost, but if we get it wrong we get one of our stats dropped. So after all those battles and all those quiz shows, we now face Opal. We face Opal, the fairy ace. And the first Pokemon that she sends out is Galarian Weezing. So we send out Violet, and now unfortunately in those fights Violet wasn't able to evolve again, but we'll just have to do our best with this fight. So the first move I'm going to try out is using Drill Peck. So we managed to hit Weezing down to nearly half, and that was a critical hit, so we didn't really do that much. The Weezing uses Sludge and Violet, taking her down to nearly half. Oh, and we have another question. And yeah, do we know her nickname? I'm going to go with the Wizard, and of course that's correct because I remember it because me and Cryo were playing through this. And Violet's speed raises sharply, so that means that we'll get to actually attack Weezing first. So go for another Drill Peck, 3 hits, taking Weezing down into the yellow, but unfortunately, he uses Sludge, bringing Violet down to 28 health, but annoyingly now Violet's poisoned. But thanks to the speed boost, we're able to go first again. Knocking Weezing down is the red, but yeah, Weezing just uses Sludge again, and unfortunately takes Violet out. So for the second Pokemon to send in, Biscuit. And because Galarian Weezing is so low in health already, I go for a quick pluck, knocking her out, just about. So we'll switch out to Sushi, because Opal's second Pokemon is Mawile. Now unfortunately she has Intimidate, and Opal hits us with another question with what's her favourite colour. Now a lot of people probably get this one wrong, but her favourite colour is purple, because if you pay attention to what she's wearing then, yeah. And luckily for us, Sushi's special defense went up because we got that one right. So one flame charge later knocks Mawile down into nearly half, and we do raise his speed. And Mawile goes for iron defense, so raising a special physical defense by 2 stages. So I decide to go for another flame charge to knock Mawile down into the yellow now. Raising Sushi's speed again. Mawile this time goes for a crunch, and not doing that much to Sushi at all. So of course I just rinse and repeat with flame charges until Mawile is taken down by a burn. And the next Pokemon is Togekiss, so I decide to keep Sushi in. So this time I decide to go for a strong aerial ace, doing about 1/4 damage to Togekiss. But annoyingly though, Togekiss goes for Ancient Power to knock Sushi down into the yellow. But luckily though she doesn't get the Omni Boost, so I decide to go for another Flame Charge because Sushi's speed is pretty much up to date now, and knocking Togekiss into the yellow before she does another Ancient Power, knocking Sushi out unfortunately. So I decide to send in Strawberry just so we can heal up Peeps again, before Togekiss one hits it with another Ancient Power before I send in Pringle. Now fortunately for us, the Togekiss isn't getting any Omni Boost from these Ancient Powers we're doing. And speaking of, she does another one to bring Pringle down into the yellow health, luckily not knocking Pringle out, so I managed to hit with Aerial Ace, knocking Togekiss into the red now. It spams another Ancient Power though, knocking Pringle down before it can go for another Aerial Ace. So this time they send a Biscuit because Biscuit isn't part flying this time, so that should help with the Ancient Powers. Yeah, so I decide to go for Pluck, which finally knocks out the Togekiss. So I send down Mizu because she's down to her last peak now. Alcremie. You get it? Like alchemy? Alcremie. Yeah. And of course she's going to Gigantamax it, so I decided to go for a Supersonic just to see what happens. So after she Gigantamaxes it, she goes for G-Max Finale, which nearly one-shot Mizu, but Mizu does hang on, meaning that we can get the Supersonic off, making Alcremie confused. Allowing me to fully recover Sushi of health with the revival herbs that I had from earlier. Alcremie hits itself in confusion, wasting one of her turns, so I did decide for the hell of it to go for a quick attack with Mizu, just to chip off a little bit more health, just before she goes for another G-Max Finale, knocking Mizu out. And thankfully, because Sushi's at full health now, and that was Alcremie's 3 turns. Alcremie goes back to normal. Dynamax her. Go for a Max Flare against the Alcremie. Knocking her out. Getting us the next win. Meaning that Violet finally evolves into a beautiful Corviknight. For getting the next badge. Afterwards, Oprah wants us to go to Hammerlock with her. We heal up again. Up grabs us for another Pokemon battle. So after we eventually take down all his Pokemon, way through the rest of Route 7 battling trainers. Make our way through Route 8. Wait for this adorable Pokemon to cross our path. Run into a Vullaby. Before we make our way into Steam Drift Way. And into Circhester. We make our way to the next gym, where we're picking the Moon Ball from the Moon Guy. Do the gym challenge, which involves looking out for pitfall traps. Enter an area where we can't see. And then we have a fight against gym leader Melanie. His birth Pokemon is the adorable Frosmoth. And our first one is going to be Strawberry this time. Let's see, our first move is going to be Drill Peck because it's super effective. And of course the Frosmoth's first move is going to be Hail to try and chip us down a little bit. But because Strawberry's part Ice type, that doesn't really hurt us, so yeah. Let's see, a Drill Peck takes Frosmoth down all the way down to yellow health. The Hail doesn't hurt Strawberry. Frosmoth goes for Feather Dance, which lowers Strawberry's attack harshly. Then we go for another Drill Peck, luckily not present, to send the Frosmoth down into the red. Now I'm going to risk it for that Biscuit and actually go for present just after she goes for another Feather Dance, lowering our attack even more. Oof. And yeah, go for a present. And that present actually does a bit of damage, but it's the percentage that does hardly anything. So of course Frosmoth goes for yet another Feather Dance, 3 in a row. I don't think that Strawberry's attack could go any lower into the floor. But luckily Frosmoth was a low enough hit that a critical hit from a Drill Peck actually managed to knock her out. So we don't swap our Pokemon, and the next one is Darmanitan, who decided to go for a Drill Peck against again. But unfortunately the Darmanitan lures Fire Fang, the one hit Strawberry. Ow. So if that's going to be how it's going to be, then I'm going to send out Sushi, who goes for Flame Charge to knock Darmanitan down to about half. And our speed raises thanks to Speed Boost. Darmanitan goes for Taunt, which means that we can't use the same move again. And yep, Darmanitan's Z move pops up, which means he's part Fire type now. And I really like this mode. It really gives a Galarian Darmanitan a few dimensions, and it's really cool. And it also means that if we hit it with a fire move again, it won't do that much damage. But yeah, the Galarian Darmanitan uses Icicle Crash, which does quite a bit of damage to Sushi. But then we go in for another Flame Charge. Thanks to our Speed Boost, we go first. And that's the Galarian Darmanitan down. Sorry, Bud. Now our next Pokemon is Ice Cube, and when I first saw this, me and Cry Phoenix were laughing for about 5 minutes because of how both derpy and adorable Ice Cube is at the same time. So we go for Flame Charge. That doesn't do anything to Ice Cube, but Ice Cube's face breaks, and of course it does that. So Ice Cube first of all goes for Hail, which restores Ice Cube's Ice Face, but unfortunately it does hit Sushi for a little bit of damage. So I decide to go for Flame Charge yet again. But of course, because of Ice Cube's Ice Face, it just breaks it. And this time he decides to go for an Icy Wind on Sushi, which doesn't really do too much damage to Sushi, but it does lower Sushi's speed again. And because it's hailing now, oh, he doesn't quite restore his Ice Face, so we do get to do a bit more damage to Ice Cube, taking her down to nearly half. But the Ice Cube uses Freeze Dry to knock Sushi out. You did a good job, buddy. So the next people decide to send out is Violet. And the Ice Cube decides to go for Freeze Dry on Violet, which doesn't do too much thanks to her Steel typing now. That goes for a Drill Peck that brings Ice Cube down to red. Hail hits Violet a little bit, so I decided to go for another Drill Peck. Just after Ice Cube uses Freeze Dry to do again not that much to Violet, but it does knock her into half. But thanks for one more Drill Peck, Ice Cube is down. Oh, what a funny little penguin. Now I do remember what our next Pokemon is, so I decided to keep Violet out. And yep, our next one is Lapras, the Water and Ice type. So of course if you bring out a Fire type, Lapras will just, well, destroy you basically. So yeah, I decided to go for a Steel Wing, but not before she Gigantamaxes her Lapras, whose design is really cool, I'm not gonna lie. His first turn is Max Geyser, which leaves Violet on a whole 6 health. Ow. And because she used that, it started to rain now. Violet goes for Steel Wing, which does a bit of chip damage to the Lapras. Thank you for letting her not be hailing anymore, otherwise Violet would be knocked out. And speaking of Violet, I decided to Gigantamax her. And just afterwards I go for Max Steel Spike to deal a bit more damage to the Lapras, but again I'm just wasting turns at this point. But it does raise his Violet's defense just before she goes for Lapras's signature move, which is G-Max Renaissance, which is basically a massive hail attack. And now it puts up an Aurora Veil as well, which means it's stronger against physical and special moves, which is going to be a bit of an issue. But I decided to go for a risky move and send it Biscuit now. I decided to go for a Leaf Blade, which does take Lapras down after the yellow. Lapras goes for a G-Max Resonance, which leaves Biscuit down into the yellow. But luckily for us though, that is Lapras' last Gigantamax turn, so she returns to normal. I go for another Leaf Blade to knock her out. So the adorable Melanie wishes us a job well done. We get the next gym badge, which is a cool Ice Cube, meaning that we have 2 more left. So after having a word with Sonia literally as soon as we set foot out of the gym, we meet her in a restaurant and learn a bit more about the plot. Have yet another battle with Hop, and after his last Pokemon faints to hail, then after updating our look to a more suitable environmentally clothed me, we go to Route 9, battle a load of trainers again, take care of a few Team Yell Grunts. We get our bike upgraded, so now we can surf on the water. We make it to the outer Spikemuth, but unfortunately the gate is down at the minute. But fortunately for us, Marnie lets us take the back entrance. But of course some Team Yell grunts come around the corner and she wants to battle us, so we oblige. Then after we beat her in the battle, we get introduced to Spike Muth. So then after I've healed everybody and had a good look around Spike Muth, we start the gym mission where we have to fight our way through a load of Team Yell grunts. Then after getting introduced to the gym leader in a really cool way, we start the battle. And the first Pokemon who sends out is this Scrafty. And the first one we bring out is Strawberry. And unfortunately Scrafty does have Intimidate, so Strawberry's attack is lowered by a bit. But I'm going to go for Drill Peck. But not before Scrafty does Fake Out to take out about 1/6 of Strawberry's health, but it does leave her flinched. So I just go for Drill Peck again. We managed to hit, but that takes out about 1/4 of Scrafty's one. Scrafty goes for Payback, and that does considerable more damage to Strawberry as she's knocked out now, unfortunately. But then the second Pokemon to send out is Sushi. Then I go for an Aerial Ace, which hits. Takes Scrafty down into the yellow. Pierces Scrafty, then goes for another Payback, which takes Sushi down to nearly half, but we go for another Aerial Ace to take down the rest of his health and to knock him out. Now Pierce's next Pokemon is Malamar, which is a Dark and Psychic type. And of course Pierce just told us that his Malamar has Contrary, so yeah, that's going to be a bit of an issue. But I'm going to go for Aerial Ace straight away. To take Malamar's health down by about 6, and the Malamar uses Foul Play, which of course takes Sushi all the way down into the yellow. But now I'm going to go for Flame Charge, just in case that does a bit more to Malamar, and just slightly, it takes Malamar down into about halfway, but the Malamar goes for Foul Play again and knocks Sushi out this time. This might be rough, guys. So now I'm going to send out Violet on Malamar's face. Don't look at me that way. And just in case this helps, I'm going to go for a Home Claws, but of course Malamar gets off a critical hit Foul Play to knock her into the yellow there. Now decided not to attack and went for a Home Claws to raise Violet's attack, so now I'm going to go for Power Trip, which does more damage the more buffs Violet has on her, but it goes for Foul Play again, knocking her into the 4 health. But we do manage to knock Malamar down into the yellow. So now what I'm going to do is, now because I could tell that Violet's going to go down, I heal up someone, but yeah, goes for another Foul Play, knocking out. So now I send out Biscuit. I go for Spirit Shackle. But I do have to be careful here because Malamar's Foul Play is Dark type, and we are weak to Dark. But luckily Spirit Shackle manages to take him down. Thank you very much, Biscuit. Now Pierce's last Pokemon, Obstagoon, is his ace, but of course because we're in kind of an underground area here, his Obstagoon can't Dynamax or Gigantamax, which is handy for us. So of course I go for a strong Leaf Blade. He goes for Obstruct, which is his signature move, which is basically his version of Protect. So of course Leaf Blade bounces off. And unfortunately Biscuit's defense harshly falls, so I just go for another Leaf Blade again, which this time actually does hit. It takes Obstagoon down by about 1/4, before Obstagoon goes for Throat Chop. Oh god, ow. Which one-shots Biscuit. Ow. Now the next Pokemon I'm going to send out is Pringle now, because Pringle is a normal and flying type, and I don't think Obstagoon has any fighting type moves, but we'll have to see. So I go for an Aerial Ace with the little guy. Does hardly anything to Obstagoon, but he fires back with a counter, taking Pringle down to about 3/4 thing. So this time I'm going to go for a Wing Attack, but of course Obstagoon goes for Obstruct again, meaning that this time we won't hit him, and our defense will go down, which is kind of annoying. The Obstagoon goes for Throat Chop again, knocking Pringle out this time. So I went to send out Mizu to hopefully do some more cheap damage to Obstagoon. So I decided to go for a Supersonic. Damn it. Which he avoids, and he goes for a counter, but it does fail because we didn't actually hit him. So we'll try for Supersonic again. Obstagoon goes for Obstruct again, which actually works this time, but because I'm not hitting him with an attacking move, Supersonic does go off and does leave the Obstagoon confused. Thank you very much, Mizu. So for now, because I'm not sure how much damage Obstagoon's going to do to Mizu, I go for a heal instead. Obstagoon is confused. He hits himself with confusion, knocking him down to about half health. So because he does that, I decide to heal up Violet again. Obstagoon's confused. But it does hit with Throat Chop, leaving Mizu just below half health because he's kind of chunky. So I decide to go for Water Pulse. And the Obstagoon goes for Obstruct again. So yep, you know what happens now. We don't hit him, but Mizu's defense doesn't go down, which I'm curious about. But yeah, Obstagoon snapped out of confusion, goes for another Throat Chop to leave Mizu on 2 health. Mizu comes in with a wing attack, leaving Obstagoon in the yellow now. But because this time Mizu will go down this time, I'm going to go to revive Biscuit this time. So yeah, Obstagoon hits her with another Throat Chop, which of course knocks her out. Him out. I don't know why I keep calling Mizu a boy. A girl, rather. Blech. Let's see, I'll go for send out Violet now. And this time I'm going to go for a Steel Wing. Obstagoon, of course, goes for Obstruct, so we can't really hit him. Steel Wing bounces off, and that does lower Violet's defense harshly. Oh, that's why it does this tactic. So yeah, it goes for Throat Chop, leaving Violet in the yellow, even though that was a critical hit. We managed to hit him with Steel Wing, knocking him slightly down. Again, now because I'm going to project an Obstruct here, I go for the Hyper Potion on Violet to heal her all the way back up. Oh no, Obstagoon does go for a Throat Chop, surprisingly, which is another critical hit. Thinking about it now, I'm guessing he goes for Obstruct every time we try and go for an actual move. So for this turn, I'm not going to go for a move, I'm going to heal up Biscuit. Yeah, Obstagoon goes for Throat Chop, which is again another critical hit. Is Throat Chop an automatic crit? I will look that up after this fight. But first of all, I send in Biscuit again. And I'm going to go for a Spirit Shackle. And yeah, as predicted, he goes for Obstruct. Which means Spirit Shackle bounces. It doesn't lower Biscuit's defense harshly though this time. So I'm going to try again for Spirit Shackle. Which I forget doesn't hit Obstagoon, and we got hit for quite a lot this time. Return. Ghost. Oh wait, Ghost doesn't... Oh god, I completely forgot that you were part normal. Oh fuck. Well, I go for a Leaf Blade, which now leaves Obstagoon into the red. Oh my god. Obstagoon now goes for a Throat Chop, which because of my blunder, it does knock Biscuit out. So of course I'm going to send in my last Pokemon, Sushi, who luckily knows Quick Attack. But of course he goes for Obstruct, which means that we can't hit him quite yet. So Quick Attack bounces and lowers Sushi's defense harshly. But I'm going to go for another Quick Attack because he can't do that twice in a row, which actually hits this time. And Obstagoon finally goes down. Ow. I didn't realise he had one more Pokemon, being Skuntank. So, yeah. Huh. Because I didn't realise he had one more Pokemon left, and I thought that nowadays Pokemon isn't part normal. That would be really good to remember next time. I go for Flame Charge, but of course Skuntank goes for Sucker Punch, knocking Sushi out. I'm really glad this isn't a Nuzlocke now. I go for a Leaf Blade on the Skuntank, knocking it nearly to half. It's not very effective though. Skuntank goes for Screech, not an attacking move. But Screech does lower Biscuit's defense harshly. Okay then, so I see your strategy here. So because of that, I go to revive. Skuntank goes for Sucker Punch, but it misses, thankfully. So, didn't mean to press that. So yeah, I'm going to go for Spirit Shackle now because it will hopefully actually hit you. But not before he actually hits with Sucker Punch, knocking Biscuit down. God damn this fight. But then finally, after a few more turns of healing and reviving and everything, we finally take Skuntank out with a Drill Peck. But he does have Aftermath, but luckily though that doesn't knock Violet out. Oh my god, that fight was seriously rough. Oh boy. Thank you, Pierce. You're a really awesome gym leader, and it's great to see that they finally actually have a dark type as one. Maybe in Gen 10 we'll have another one? We shall never know. After that gym battle, we find out there's some thing going down at Route 9. After the gym battle, there's an explosion at Route 9. Here's as it came from this mysterious tunnel. We read a newspaper that couldn't have possibly been printed yet because Leon literally just did that. After a load of trainers along the way. And then we make our way back to Hammerlock. And then finding out a bit more of the story and doing the gym challenge for Raihan, we're finally here in the gym. So off we go with his gym battle. Which has a twist this time because it's a double battle, and he sends out his Gigalith and Flygon. So I send out Violet and Strawberry. And I send out these two because Gigalith has Sandscream, which of course kicks up a sandstorm, and I don't think that the Violet will really be affected by it, but Strawberry will do. But to send out Strawberry first to deal with all the ground types. But yeah, first of all I'm going to go with Steel Wing on the Gigalith, and then I'm going to go for Icy Wind because that hits both of them, and of course that's quad effective on Flygon. Flygon goes for Breaking Swipe, which hits all of us. Hardly does anything to Violet, but nearly half hits Strawberry. Strawberry's attack falls, but luckily they'll go for a special move in Icy Wind, which hits them both and takes Flygon into the yellow. Doesn't really hit Gigalith that much, but it does lower Gigalith's speed. And then they go for Steel Wing on Gigalith again, nearly knocks him down to half, but because he's a Tonk it doesn't really do that much. Gigalith will set up the Stealth Rocks now, so then the next Pokemon we send out will get hit by it. Which is very unfortunate because we have a team full of birds. So then I'm going to go for another Steel Wing on Gigalith and another Icy Wind to hit both of them again. But fortunately though, Flygon goes for Thunder Punch, which knocks out Strawberry before we can do the ice damage to him. Violet Steel Wings hits Gigalith and knocks him down into the yellow now. And unfortunately, Strawberry got knocked down, otherwise we might have been able to knock both of these out at once. So I'm going to go ahead and send in Biscuit now, because I know we're strong against most of his team. So now I'll go for another Steel Wing against Gigalith, and a Leaf Blade against him as well. And Leaf Blade lands, and I just knock out the Gigalith. Flygon uses Thunder Punch on Violet, which doesn't really do too much, but it did knock her down into the yellow. Violet Steel Wing connects with Flygon, knocking him down into the red. Biscuit is buffeted by the Sandstorm, and he next sends the next Pokemon, Sandaconda, which does one job right at the very beginning, so hopefully you can knock him out beforehand. So because I want to, I'm going to use my Dynamax turn now and use the Max Steel Spikes on the Sandaconda. And then when the frame rate tanks a bit, I'm going to try for a Leaf Blade on Flygon. But not before Violet goes big, and we knock out Flygon. And yeah, Sandaconda uses Glare to paralyse Biscuit. Biscuit can't move though, but he already knocked out Flygon. I go for Max Steel Spike against Sandaconda to knock him down. Not really that far because it's a really tonky Pokemon. But we're doing all this so then we can whittle down his team as quick as possible before he sends out his big boy, Duraludon. Oh, he only has 4 Pokemon. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm going to go for Max Steel Spikes again against Sandaconda and another Leaf Blade, this time against Duraludon. But not before right-hand Gigantamaxes his Pokemon into the big skyscraper that he is. His Sandaconda uses Protect, which protects him against his side. His Duraludon goes for Max Steel Spike against Biscuit, which doesn't do too much, but it does bring him down into the yellow. And of course it raises Duraludon's special and physical defense. We clap back with a Steel Spike of our own, but of course Sandaconda is protected, so it does hardly anything. Both of our defences rise because of that, but Biscuit is paralysed now. And luckily for us, the Sandstorm does manage to subside now. And before we can do anything, he goes for G-Max Depletion, which looks really cool. It knocks Biscuit all the way down into the red, and it reduces both of our PP. Sandaconda uses a surprising move in Fire Fang on Biscuit, which leaves him on 7 health. We go for a Max Steel Spike on Sandaconda to not really do too much, but it did knock him down into the yellow. Violet's defense rises, as does Biscuit's. Sandaconda unfortunately makes some more Sandstorm kick up. We managed to do a Leaf Blade on Duraludon before he's buffeted by the Sandstorm and he's taken down. So now to go for more strategy here and send in a Sushi, because of course Duraludon's had a couple of turns Gigantamax now. Oh god, the stones are dug into Sushi though and takes her down to the yellow straight away. Violet comes out of Dynamax state. I heal up Sushi with a Hyper Potion, because I didn't know that Stone Age would do that much to her. Oh no. And then Duraludon goes for Max Rock 4, which I didn't know he had. Oh god, which one-shot Sushi anyway. Oh god, sorry buddy. His Sandaconda goes to a Glare, which paralyses Violet. Violet goes for Steel Wing, which does hit, which is a little bit more cheap damage to Sandaconda, and the defense is rising again. And I decided to send in Pringle, whose house does get dug into by the Stealth Rock now, but thankfully, because we wasted all those turns, his Duraludon is back to normal now, but we've still got the Sandaconda to deal with. Pringle goes for an Aerial Ace, sending the Sandaconda down into the red. Violet's fully paralysed. We all get hit by the Sandstorm. After a few more turns and Mizu coming out, we finally managed to take out the Sandaconda with Water Pulse. Violet's unfortunately fully paralysed. The Sandstorm subsides, thankfully now. Duraludon go for a strong Stone Age against Mizu now, leaving just Violet standing. We go for a Drill Peck to do hardly anything to Duraludon. I use a Revive on Biscuit. The Duraludon uses Body Press on Violet to take it down to a bit more health. I managed to send Biscuit out now, who isn't paralysed. I go for the Hyper Potion on Violet because she's been in this battle for quite a bit and I feel guilty now. Duraludon goes for Body Press, which of course doesn't do that much. Biscuit goes for a Leaf Blade to slowly but surely take down Duraludon. And finally, after a few more turns, Sushi comes out, uses Ember, and Duraludon is finally down. And we're beaten Gym Leader Raihan. Well, which is really sulky about, of course. So after our last and final handshake, we finally get our last badge to fill out our really cool gym badge circle. We see that Sonia's got a promotion into Professor. We heal everyone up. We then catch the train with Hop, exchanging numbers and Pokemon information along the way. We end up on Route 10. Battle Trainers. We make it into Winden. Then after about 25 minutes of running around, I run into a male Ice Cube. So I heal up and have a good look around Winden. Go check out the stadium. Get our ball from the ball guy. Make our way into the stadium. Our first opponent is Marnie. And our first Pokemon is going to be Liepard. And I send out Pringle as our first one. My first move is going to be Aerial Ace on the Liepard. And now before Marnie uses Torment, so it means that we can't use the same move twice in a row. Aerial Ace does hit, doing about more than half to Liepard, so I go for another Aerial Ace, but I can't because of the Torment, I keep forgetting. So I go for a Wing Attack. Liepard go for Snarl though, hitting Pringle and taking him down by about 6 of his health. Lowering his special attack, but luckily for us, Pringle is a physical attacker and takes down the Liepard. And now Marnie's second Pokemon is Morpeko, so I keep Pringle in. And this time I'm going to go for Hone Claws, but of course Morpeko goes for Spark, knocking Pringle down to 12 health, giving us a paralysis. But luckily though we managed to break through and do some Hone Claws, but unfortunately that was a wasted effort because I'm going to have to swap out. Which I do, and I switch out to Yuki. Morpeko goes for Spark, but that doesn't do anything to Yuki, but does leave her paralysed. But thanks to Yuki's Ice Face, her Ice breaks, I'm revealing her adorable true self. And Morpeko goes back to normal. I goes for a Freeze Dry, but the Morpeko goes for Torment again. Which is fair enough, because I wasn't going to use the Freeze Dry twice in a row anyway. Which we managed to hit, sending Morpeko down to about half. He changes, and this time I choose to go for Amnesia. Well, Morpeko does actually hit to a Spark now. Not doing that much. But I do manage to raise special defense sharply. Morpeko goes back to normal. Then I'm going to go for another Freeze Dry, but the Morpeko uses Spark again, sending Yuki down to the yellow now. The Freeze Dry hits, this time knocking Morpeko into the red. And I choose to go for Spark, Hail, but of course he knocks me with Spark. And we make it start to hail. Ice Face comes back in a really cool effect. So now the Morpeko is going to be buffeted by hail until it knocks itself out. Until she gets knocked out because of it. And Nani's next Pokemon is Scrafty, and I decided to keep in Yuki because of the hail and she's got Ice Face. So we'll go for a Freeze Dry, which does manage to hit. And doesn't really do too much to Scrafty. Scrafty uses Scary Face to lower Yuki's speed harshly. But the Scrafty's buffeted by the hail. Ice Face doesn't seem to want to work, so I'm going to do a kind of risky move. And pull Yuki back and switch out to Biscuit. He manages to knock her out in one plop. Armani's next Pokemon is Toxicroak. I go for Brave Bird, which looks really cool, and of course it does manage to knock her out in one go. But the drawback is that it knocks Biscuit down to the yellow. So for Marnie's last Pokemon, which is Grimmsnarl, a Dark and Fairy type. So we do have to be kind of careful here. Especially because she decides to Gigantamax him. And his first move is G-Max Snooze, which is devastating to Biscuit as he knocks him out. So I decide to switch into Violet. At least I have the type advantage, and this time I'm going to Dynamax and use Max Steel Spike. And I go for Max Steel Spike, which takes Grimmsnarl all the way down into the red. Plus Violet's defense rises. And he goes for Max Snooze again, which does hardly anything to Violet. So we take him down with a Max Airstream. Finishing our first battle. Sorry Marnie, maybe in the next challenge run. And just after another minute of resting. And we see our next challenger is Hop. His first Pokemon is going to be his Double. And of course we send out a little Pringle first. And the first move I'm going to use on his Double is going to be Crush Claw. But of course he decides to go for Body Slam first, which takes Pringle nearly down into the halfway point. But Crush Claw does equally the same amount of damage, so I decide to leave him in and take another Body Slam before hitting him with another Crush Claw that misses. So I decide to take back Pringle. I send out Biscuit if he's going to keep on spamming Body Slam. He can't anymore. So I decide to go for Brave Bird to knock out his first Pokemon. Now his next Pokemon is Corviknight, so I decide to switch out into Sushi, who we managed to take out with a few Flame Charges. Now Hop's next Pokemon is Pincurchin, which might be a bit tasty for us, but we'll have to see. So I'm going to go for another Flame Charge against him, which takes him down to about quarter health. Sushi Speed Rose counts to... Okay, buddy, the Pincurchin goes for Curse, which of course lowers his speed, but raises his attack and defense by 1. So I just go for another Flame Charge, hoping to get a Flame Body hit off. We do not, but Sushi Speed rises. Pincurchin goes for Thunderbolt on Sushi, knocking Sushi down to 37 health. So because it won't be super effective against her, I decide to switch into Yuki. Pincurchin goes for another Thunderbolt. That doesn't really do too much to Yuki. And the first thing I decide to go for is a Hail. His Pincurchin goes for another Thunderbolt, which takes Yuki down into the yellow. Pincurchin is buffed by Hail, that takes her down into the yellow as well though. So this time I decide to go for a Freeze Dry, which takes Pincurchin down into the red. Hop goes for Curse for some reason instead of another Thunderbolt. So he lowers Pincurchin's speed even more, but raises his attack and defense a bit more. Pincurchin's buffeted by Hail. So to be kind of sneaky, I decide to go for an Aurora Veil. Hop goes for yet another Thunderbolt, which as you can see is tampered by the Aurora Veil. Pincurchin gets hit by another Hail. I go for one more Freeze Dry to knock her out. And his next Pokemon is Beefy Snorlax, but I decide to keep in Yuki, just in case. I go for a Freeze Dry just to see how much it does on the Snorlax. It does hardly anything, and Snorlax retaliates with an unfortunate Heavy Slam, which doesn't do anything to Yuki because of her Ice Face. That comes off though. And the Hail stops just in that time because of course it does, so we don't get our Ice Face back. So just in case he decides to spam Heavy Slam, I send out Biscuit. And yes he does. But it hits Biscuit, even though I thought Heavy Slam was a normal type move. That's fair dues. So I decide to go for the hard-hitting Brave Bird to take Snorlax down into the yellow, but Biscuit is damaged by recoil. He goes for another Heavy Slam, which again doesn't do too much, but it does send him down into the yellow. The Aurora Veil does wear off though, so we need to get another Brave Bird in to knock out the Snorlax. But it does chip off a little bit more of Biscuit's health. I decide to swap out to Sushi again. And Hop's last Pokemon is his Rillaboom, which of course I know is just going to Gigantamax. So I use a Hyper Potion on Sushi just to get it topped up a bit. Before his Gorilla gets big. And he goes for Max Strike. which of course doesn't do too much to Sushi. So, apart from lower her speed a bit. So this time I'm going to go for my Dynamax move, and I'm going to go for a Max Flare, which takes the Rillaboom down all the way into the yellow health. The sunlight turns harsh. Rillaboom now goes for Max Darkness to not really do that much to Sushi. I think it literally did 10 damage. So we just go for another Max Flare. Which of course causes the monkey to explode. And that is battle number 2 done. Leon moves us both off the elevator to say that we did a great job. We get invaded by the paparazzi in a really fancy hotel. We find out that Leon didn't meet us because he was headed to Rose Tower. After a quick game of hide and seek and a battle with this guy, Pringle finally evolves into a really cool Braviary. And before we know it, we're at Rose Tower, where we battle this guy. Go up a very long and very fancy elevator. Then after a few more fights, we have to fight Aliana. And her first Pokemon she sends out is a Frozlass. Also, I'm not sure why this isn't a double battle with Hop, but hey ho. Yeah, because it is Frozlass, I do need to switch Pokemon straight away. So yeah, I'm going to switch to Sushi, so the Pringle stays nice and safe. And her first move is going to be Will-O-Wisp, but it doesn't affect Sushi, so yeah. So yeah, I'm going to go for a Flame Charge here to do some damage and to raise up Sushi's speed. That leaves Frozlass in the yellow there. Aliana gets angry. The Frozlass goes for Icy Wind. It takes Sushi down to not that much health. Or rather, it doesn't do that much health to Sushi, rather. So yeah, going for another Flame Charge. Taking down her first Pokemon, Frozlass. Pokemon that she's about to send out is Milotic, so yeah, I'm going to switch to Biscuit. So I switched to Biscuit. And yep, here she is. So yeah, the first move I'm going to use is Leaf Blade, which does damage and it one-shots the Milo. Okay, oof. Maybe next. And her next Pokemon is Salazzle, who is Poison and Fire, but I'm going to keep Biscuit in even though it's risky. So I'm going to go for Brave Bird, but not after Salazzle uses Poison Gas, just to poison Biscuit. So Brave Bird hits, taking down Salazzle in one go. And we do damage some recoil, but not that much. But unfortunately though, Biscuit is still poisoned, so we do still take that bit of damage too. Now her next Pokemon is Sarina, so I'm going to switch out to Sushi again. Now of course again I'm going to go for another Flame Charge. And we do manage to go first on that, knock her Sarina down into the yellow. And raising Sushi's speed. Sarina goes for Acrobatics, which brings Sushi nearly down into the yellow, but of course another Flame Charge. Takes her down. Now she's going to send out her last Pokemon, which is Garbodor, and which is really unusual because compared to the rest of her team, Garbodor is not exactly pretty. So yeah, now I'm going to go for my Dynamax move, and I'm going to go for Max Flare. But not before she Gigantamaxes her Garbodor. But luckily we do hit her first, taking down about a quarter of Garbodor's health. And of course making the sunlight turn harsh. But Garbodor's got weak armour, so its defense falls. But its speed rises sharply, which means it might go before us now. But of course Garbodor goes for max rockfall, which is devastating for Sushi. Because it summons a sandstorm and it takes Sushi out in one go, unfortunately. So now decide to go for a tactical move and send out Yuki. And also it's kind of funny because the Garbodor is also hit by the sandstorm, so I'm not sure quite why I did that move apart from to one-shot Sushi. Now Garbodor to go for Max Melidor. To poison Yuki, which takes down Yuki's ice face. But I go for Aurora Veil and it fails though. And the Garbodor is hit by a sandstorm and so is Yuki. And Yuki's also hit by the poison now. Aliana using sandstorm strategies to get rid of ice face so then she can actually hit the poor Yuki. Okay then. So of course I call Yuki back and send out Violet to use up another one of Garbodor's turns. Garbodor uses Max Rockfall again to take Yuki down by not much. And we both get hit by the sandstorm and that uses up Gigantamax Garbodor's turns. So now it's an even playing field. So we'll go for a Drill Peck, but the Garbodor goes for Toxic Spikes. A little too late, I think. Drill Peck hits, knocking her out. Maybe next time. We then get a bit of a cutscene where Chairman Rose and Leon are having a chat. Leon more or less says screw you to Chairman Rose. Then after a bit more talking and everything, we head out to the pitch again. After Bede comes out of nowhere, he comes to apologise to us. And it turns out that his new and improved self is going to be our first challenger when we come back. So his first Pokemon is Mawile. And of course we send in Biscuit, who has Intimidate, so it knocks down Biscuit's attack a little bit, which is kind of annoying, but we shall see what happens. I go for a Spirit Shackle, which looks really cool. And it also takes Mawile down into the yellow. Mawile can no longer swap, and it goes for a Crunch to take Biscuit down by about a third, and lower Biscuit's defense as well. So I just go for another Spirit Shackle to crit and take out Mawile. Bede's next Pokemon is Gardevoir. So now I decide to go for another super effective Spirit Shackle. Oh, which critical hits again and one-shots her. Bede's next one is now evolved Rapidash. So I'm going to keep Biscuit in and just continuing using Spirit Shackle. Not before I use a Psycho Cut though, to take Biscuit down into the yellow. We managed to pull off one more Spirit Shackle before Biscuit goes down though. To one-shot his Rapidash too. Sorry Bede, this comeback tour isn't going your way, is it? I decide to switch into Violet. Bede sends out his last Pokemon, Hatterene. We beat Gigantamaxes. So I go for a Steel Wing to knock even the Gigantamax one down to half. Gigantamax, her goes for Max Flare though, to take Violet down in one shot. Damn, I did not realise you'd have a coverage move, but that was really cool. Sorry Violet. So after that then I decide to swap into Sushi, who I choose to Dynamax here and now. go for a Max Steel Spike. Oh, to nearly take down the Gigantamax Hatterene. Or Hatterene. But of course she goes for Max Mindstorm to knock Sushi down to nearly half. He uses full restore to fully restore his Hatterene's health. I decided to go for a Max Flare because I thought I was going to finish her off. But I still managed to take it down to half anyway, as she goes back to her normal size. So then I hit one Max Steel Spike. To take her down. That was a really cool fight, Beef. Thank you. After the crowd cheers for him, he decides to actually not retire and carry on his legacy with Opal. Back into the stadium again. And it turns out that we're going to be fighting Nessa again. So after we take down her team with Leaf Blade, the last Pokemon that she sent out is Dreadnought. Now, unlike last time, she's going to Gigantamax it, so I'm going to go for Dynamaxing myself to one-shot a Gigantamax Dreadnought. Sorry, buddy. Take a look at the leaderboard and see that our next opponent is going to be one of those four. And we see that our next opponent is Alistair. And his first Pokemon is now Dusknoir. Proceed to one-shot with Spirit Shackle, just like the rest of his team. And the last Pokemon he sends out is this Gengar, who we know is just going to Gigantamax again. So I get a Spirit Shackle ready while he does so. But just before we can do so, he goes for a Max Darkness, which of course knocks Biscuit all the way down to yellow health. Lowering Biscuit's special defense in the process, but we retaliate with an extremely strong Spirit Shackle with one-shot Gigantamax Gengar. Oh blimey, that could be nasty. So now we're in the finals, and we see that our next opponent is Raihan. He starts off with this Torkoal. So of course we proceed with Biscuit as usual. A Torkoal has Drought that makes it like a sunny day all the time. So of course his fire type moves are going to be a lot stronger now. Next to switch into Mizu. A Torkoal does a Yawn. So thinking back on it now, I should have kept in Biscuit, but hey ho. That's why I do a Water Pulse on Torkoal, which doesn't really do that much thanks to the harsh sunlight. But Torkoal does manage to get a Solar Beam that he only has to do now with one turn, thanks to it. And yes, this is a really cool animation, but it does really suck for Mizu, who takes it down into just about into the yellow now, and he is asleep, so we need to swap out Pokemon again. Torkoal goes for another Solar Beam. Which does hardly anything to Pringle. Thank you for being a bulky boy. So I retaliate with a Crush Claw, which brings Torkoal into the yellow and lowers his defense, ready for next time. Torkoal goes for Lava Plume now, which is a bit more to Pringle, sending him down about halfway and burning him too, so now his physical attacks are in half. So then I decide, hang on a minute, who's good in fire? Sushi! So now Torkoal goes for Lava Plume again. But this time, because of Sushi, it doesn't really do that much. And luckily now the sunlight faded. And we managed to take Torkoal down with another Aerial Ace. Now the next Pokemon is going to be Goodra, so I send in Yuki. So I go for a Freeze Dry, but not before Goodra goes for Rain Dance. I guess she's setting up for Thunder maybe. But we go for Freeze Dry to not really take much of Goodra's health, which is surprising. So I go for another one, and now the Goodra uses Surf, and thanks to the rain his power slightly boosted I think. Now which takes Yuki down into half. Freeze Dry hits, which now takes Goodra down into the yellow. So then I decide to go for an Aurora Veil, but now Goodra goes for Muddy Water, which unfortunately knocks her out. So now I send in Violet. And now the Goodra goes for Thunder, which is 100% accurate thanks to the rain. And that does quite a bit to Violet. Ow. And of course it paralyzes as well. So I go for a Steel Wing. Not quite knocking out the Goodra. And now because I know that the Goodra is going to go first, I decide to stay in and try for a Drill Peck. But yeah, Thunder hits again because of the rain, taking Violet out. And it was a critical hit just to boot. And just as soon as the rain vanishes, of course, I send out Biscuit. And I go for Leaf Blade, but give me a Sap Sipper, which raises her attack. She sets up the rain again. And just in case, I go for Brave Bird. Knocking her out, of course. And the next Pokemon is Turtonator. Now, whose fire moves are going to be weaker now because of the rain unless it stops in a sec. So I decide to go for another Brave Bird, which might be risky. But it does knock him down into the yellow. Now, Turtonator now sets up the Sunny Day, which of course now powers up fire moves. And of course the thickest plan is to go for a fire move, but I go for Brave Bird again. But Turtonator has Shell Trap, so of course Brave Bird is going to hit us with Recoil. Straight afterwards, taking Biscuit down. Oh my god, that really sucked. So now I'm going to do something kind of odd here. I'm going to send in Mizu. Who, yes, I know he's still asleep, but he just sets up for his Shell Trap. But Mizu is still asleep though, so it doesn't hit. But Shell Trap doesn't work because I didn't hit him this time. So he just goes to set up another one. Mizu wakes up, goes for a quick attack, but I know now because that I hit him, Mizu might get taken out. Although never mind, I'm guessing how Shell Trap works wrong then. Okay. But yeah, I decided to keep in Mizu because he's going to send in Flygon now. And I decide to revive Yuki. Flygon now sets up the Sandstorm. Blimey, how many weathers are we going to see in this one fight? And of course Mizu's buffeted by it. And then of course shortly after he goes for Dragon Claw, which knocks Mizu down to 6 health. I go for Water Pulse, which takes down about a third of Flygon's health, but it does confuse him. And yeah, Mizu's taken out by the Sandstorm. So now I descend in Yuki. And the first move I try is going to go for Freeze Dry. But let's see if Flygon hits first. Yes, he does, and he goes for Earthquake. Which of course doesn't do anything to Yuki thanks to Ice Face. But now we're super fast, so Freeze Dry hits. And takes down the Flygon. Oh boy. And of course Raihan's last Pokemon is Duraludon. I'm going to keep Yuki in for. And because I know he's going to go for Jagger to maxing, I'm going to go try a Freeze Dry. Does straight away. Yuki does manage to hit Freeze Dry for a little bit of damage, but of course he goes for Max Rockfall. Unfortunately knocking Yuki out now. Thank you, buddy. And now we know he's going to Max Rockfall, send in Pringle now. And because I'm not sure how much damage he will do to Pringle now, I decide to revive Biscuit. He goes for another Max Rockfall, eating up 2 of his G-Max turns. To knock out Pringle. Sorry buddy, we just got to wait one more turn, alright? And afterwards the sandstorm subsides. And I decide to send a Biscuit. So I Dynamax. Go for Max Phantasm, which knocks Duraludon down into the yellow, lowering his speed as well. But of course it goes for a signature G-Max Depletion, which knocks Biscuit down to 69 health, just before he returns to his normal state. And because it's now effective against him, I go for Max Darkness. Knocking out his last Pokemon. Winning us semi-finals. So now it's time for the final championship match against Leon. But just before the match is about to begin, Chairman Rose interrupts us both and tells us that he's evil, by the way. All the things start to shake and we see a Terra Raid battle thing come out the stadium and everywhere all over Galar. So of course we head out to the stadium. So me and Hop run in for back to Swimming Wheel where we meet Sonia and our mum. Then we talk about what's going on. Through the spooky woods again. Pick up some items. Just as the fog's getting thicker. And we meet some 2 good boys. Breath of the Wild scene. I pick up a rusted shield. We use a flying taxi to get back to Hammerlock. Dynamax Pokemon are on a rampage now. Going to the energy plant. We confront Chairman Rose about what he's been doing. We have a battle with him. And his first Pokemon is Excavalier, who is a Bug and Steel type. So the first thing I'm going to do is Leaf Blade, which doesn't really do that much damage to him, but I'm not really surprised. Chairman Rose uses Mega Horn, which takes Biscuit down into half health. So I decide to do the smart thing and swap into Sushi. Excavalier uses sword stance to raise his attack sharply. So then I'm going for a flame charge, which nearly knocks out the Excavalier, but it does raise Sushi's speed. Excavalier sets up another sword stance to raise his attack sharply, but he won't get a chance to use it as we just use another flame charge to take him out. So then Chairman Rose's second Pokemon is Klinklang. It's just pure steel type. So we're going for a flame charge again to knock Klinklang down into the yellow. And that was a crit, okay. Klinklang goes for wild charge to take Sushi all the way down into the yellow. But it does damage itself by recoil, knocking itself down really lowly. So then we can knock him out with another flame charge. Now his third Pokemon is Berserker. We knock down to about half with another flame charge, raising Sushi's speed. He uses Throat Chop to take Sushi down into 33 health. And we do another flame charge to knock Berserker down into the red, and to raise Sushi's speed though. But unfortunately, it goes for another third chop, knocking Sushi out, but Sushi's flame body does leave him burned. So then I swap it to Pringle. And go for a superpower, which I didn't really need to do, but hey ho. Just to make sure, just in case he went for a full restore or something. Now his fourth Pokemon is Ferrothorn. I can't talk right now. So I'll keep in Pringle. Pringle, I decided to go for another superpower because it's a fighting move. But then less power, so I only need Ferrothorn down into the yellow. Pringle's attack and defense fails. Iron Barbs does dig into Pringle a little bit. And the Ferrothorn goes for Curse, which does lower its speed, but it raises its attack and defense by 1 step. So I decided to go for another superpower, doing about half of that thing because now its attack has fallen enough that it can't really do too much damage. Iron Barbs chip into Pringle, and he decides to go for Gyro Ball, which knocks Pringle out. Ow. So now I decide to even the playing field by going for my Steel Pokemon on my own. And I go for a Drill Peck to send Ferrothorn down into the red. Iron Barbs her Violet. Chairman Bros goes for another Curse. Which raises his attack and defense even more. So now I go for Power Trip that we've had all this time. Damn it, I should have gone for another move because it didn't knock out Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn goes for Body Press, which leaves Violet onto the yellow now. So I go Bugger it and decide to go for another Drill Peck to make sure Ferrothorn goes down. There we go. Sorry, Violet. And then last but not least, he sends out his Copperaja, who I know is going to Gigantamax. So we use a Max Revive on Sushi. And he does so, bring the giant elephant down. And the move goes for his G-Max Steel Surge Spikes, which of course knocks Violet down, but I had that planned anyway. Sorry, girl. So then I proceed to send in Sushi, who I Dynamax. And I go for a Max Flare. It takes Copperajah down into the yellow nearly, but that does set up the sunlight. And Copperajah goes to the Max Mind Storm, which takes Sushi down a little bit, but not too much. And now the battlefield got weird. But ignoring that, I go for another Max Flare. Which takes the giant elephant out. Giving us a half-hearted clap from Chairman Rose himself. So then after leaving Chairman Rose to it, we go up the stairs to face the final Pokemon that we have to fight. Eternatus. Of course, Leon tries to capture it in a Pokeball for some reason. But it obviously breaks out, breaking the Pokeball in the process, which we've never actually seen before. He gets really mad, so now we need to fight him. So I send in Biscuit. His Smurfovis Flamethrower on Biscuit, which takes him down into the yellow now. I go for a Leaf Blade, which does hardly anything to Eternatus. So I send Biscuit back, swapping into Violet. Eternatus now goes for Dragon Pulse, which does about a 6 to Violet. So I retaliate with a Steel Wing, which still chips damage after it tries to go for Cross Poison, but of course it doesn't affect Violet. Eternatus now uses his signature Dynamax Cannon, which looks really cool. And of course it knocks Violet all the way down into the yellow. So I proceed to use Drill Peck, which knocks Eternatus to nearly half. So we're set up for another Drill Peck. It tries to use Cross Poison, but it can't affect Violet. So then he's knocked all the way into the yellow. He goes for a Dragon Pulse again to nearly knock Violet down, but manages to hang in there on 34 health. Another Drill Peck locks Eternatus into the red. And fear of losing Violet to him, I switch into Sushi. And he proceeds to use Flamethrower because he thought he could knock out Violet. But Sushi hangs in there. Uses her favourite move, Flame Charge, to nearly knock out Eternatus. And of course he goes for another Dynamax Cannon to knock Sushi down to 52 health. So we go for an Aerial Ace to knock him down, or at least hinder him slightly. But of course Eternatus decides to fly up high into the sky. Make a giant cloud over all of Galar. And I'm going to let you see this cutscene because it's really, really cool. So now Eternatus is G-maxed and he wants to give us a massive high five. So I send a biscuit again. And Hop decides he wants to help me this time. And of course all of our Pokemon are fully healed. Wait, our moves don't want to work. So I go for Brave Bird again. But now Eternatus is storing energy. We can't use any of our Pokemon moves. We still can't use any of our moves. As the Hop decides to hold up his mighty Master Sword. We get a cutscene from Shillima's Slumbering Weald. So then while we're doing that, G-Max Eternatus decides he wants to try and actually grab us now. But luckily those two wolves step in the way. But with the magic of the sword and shield, they're becoming to their true forms of Zacian and Zamazenta. But G-Max Eternatus reminds us he's still there. And of course our Pokemon might not be able to use any moves, but these two wolves do. This is actually use Howl to up Biscuit's attack. And doubles the attack Rose's as well. Zamazenta uses Light Screen to help with our defences. Eternatus using Max Wormwind on double, knocking them into the yellow. Our Quill actually hits with Brave Bird now, not for very much, but now we can actually attack him. Then we use a Double Edge to do a little bit of chip damage, but it knocks him into the red. Zacian uses Behemoth Blade, which looks amazing. Zamazenta uses Behemoth Bash. And just after that, Eternatus goes for Max Flare, sending Zamazenta down into about half health. We do for Leaf Blade. He goes for Double Edge again, and yeah, this battle's very back and forth. Zacian uses Metal Claw, raising her attack. Zamazenta uses Crunch, lowering Eternatus' defense, Eternatus goes for a Max Flare, knocking Zacian down, unfortunately. Oof, and I managed to knock him out thanks to Quill's Brave Bird. High five the sky indeed. And of course we have to catch the Eternatus so it doesn't go on a rampage. So I decided to go for a Moon Ball. So after a really crazy cutscene, we managed to do so. We get a thank you from the two wolves and they go back to where they were. So then 3 days later we head back into the stadium to resume where we were before. So after a final walk down this corridor, he says a giant thank you to us and on behalf of all of Galar for saving it because of Eternatus. So now it's time to start the final match with Leon. And his first Pokemon is an Aegislash now, who is a Ghost and Steel type, and I go for Biscuit again, of course. So the first thing we're going to do is go for Spirit Shackle now. When that does mostly damage to Aegislash, knocking him into the yellow. Aegislash goes to Stance Change, doing a really cool animation to switch into Blade form now. And he goes for Shadow Ball, even though he's a special attacker, but it still does quite a bit of damage to Biscuit, knocking him into 34 health. So I go for another Spirit Shackle with Biscuit on the now newly changed form Aegislash to knock him out. Thankfully, otherwise that would be Biscuit out. Oh yes. So I take Biscuit out and swap it to Yuki now. Because Leon's next Pokemon is a Dragapult. It's a really cool design and I love the tail being see-through and everything. So of course I go for a Freeze Dry now. Dragapult uses Flamethrower on Yuki, which will do quite a bit of damage, knocking her to 40 health. But the Freeze Dry does manage to go through, knocking Dragapult to nearly half, but it freezes! Oh my god, we actually get the freeze on Dragapult. If Dragapult's frozen solid, so we can't do another Flamethrower. We do another Freeze Dry with Yuki, knocking Dragapult into the yellow now. I'm hoping that Dragapult stays frozen, which he does now. So then we go for another Freeze Dry, knocking the Ghost Dragon out. Oh my god, thank you, Yuki. Oh, that was funny. And because of that, I switch in Yuki for Violet. because Leon's next Pokemon is a Haxorus, a pure dragon type. All the way from Generation 5. So the first move we're going to go for a Steel Wing, but he's faster than Violet and he goes for Outrage, which is about a quarter of Violet's health. But he's locked into it now. So I'm going to choose another Steel Wing. Yep, he does another Outrage, which if Violet can survive all of the hits, it will make him confused just like that. Huh. Only 2 times he hits us this time. And yes, Steel Wing takes him into the yellow now. And just in case, I'm going to heal up Violet with a Hyper Potion that I bought. Thank you. The Haxorus is confused, but it does manage to do another Outrage, taking Violet nearly down to half. So we'll go for another Steel Wing, hoping that he hits himself, which she does, sorry. Knocking herself nearly into the red, but that's enough extra damage knockover to knock her out. Sorry, I kept on calling you a boy. And this third one is Mr. Rhyme. And Violet goes for another Steel Ring now, and Mr. Rhyme hits with a Thunderbolt to take Violet down. Oh, I didn't really think it would do that much damage. Alright then. So I retaliate that by sending out Sushi. And that hits the Mr. Rhyme with a Flame Charge, taking him down to nearly half health and heightening Sushi's speed. But Mr. Rhyme used Teeter Dance. Oh lord. Making Lucy dizzy. So of course now it's confused. I'm not surprised. Yeah, she's confused. Luckily though, she doesn't hit herself with confusion and hits the Mr. Rhyme, taking him down into the red. And Leon goes for another Thunderbolt, taking Sushi down to 76 health. And now I'm going to try for a quick attack, but Leon uses Full Restore on Mr. Rhyme. Sushi's confused and manages to hit the quick attack. But of course I'll try again for another Flame Charge, but Sushi's confused and hits herself. And Leon goes for another Thunderbolt with Mr. Rhyme to knock Sushi out. Sorry, Sushi. So of course this time we're sending Pringle. Who does a Crush Claw to Mr. Rhyme, sending him down again into the yellow health and dropping his defense. Mr. Rhyme goes for Freeze Dry, taking Pringle down into 51 health, luckily not freezing us, so we're able to get in another Crush Claw to take him down. So I decided to bring back Pringle and send out Biscuit. Because the next Pokemon is our starter from the beginning, Inteleon now. So I decided to use a Hyper Potion on Biscuit. And Leon goes for Dark Pulse with Inteleon, knocking Biscuit down to 61 health. I'm going to guess that Inteleon might be faster than us, but to try for a Spirit Shackle anyway. And yes he is. So of course another Dark Pulse takes Biscuit out as well. And now so I can heal up, I'm going to send out Mizu. So we use a revive on Biscuit. And Inteleon goes for Tearful Look now. But to lower Mizu's attack. Typically when we're not actually going to attack with Mizu, but it gives me another turn to heal up Biscuit. Leon goes for another Tearful Look with Mizu. I'm not sure why he's not attacking, but fair dues, it gives us more time to actually heal up Peeps. Ready for his Charizard. So now Sushi's recovered up. And Inteleon goes for Dark Pulse, which knocks Mizu down into the yellow. But because I know that she might go down next turn, I'm going to heal up Sushi's health with a Hyper Potion again. The Inteleon goes for another Dark Pulse, knocking Mizu down. Sorry, bud, but we kind of needed you to come out, so no. So that we could send out Biscuit again. Fully healed and ready to go. And this time I'm going to select a Leaf Blade, but Inteleon goes for another Tearful Look. Lowering Biscuit's attack and special attack, which is a bit of an issue, but we'll see how much Leaf Blade does. Oh, and without that attack drop, it would have one-shot it because it leaves Inteleon into the red. Just in case Leon decides to go for the heal, I'm going to use Leaf Blade, but he doesn't. He goes for Tearful Look again. But that doesn't matter because one more Leaf Blade. Crits. And knocks out the Inteleon. Oh boy. So now I'm going to send out Biscuit. And send out Yuki. Because it was Leon's last and next Pokemon. It's his Charizard, and we know he's going to Gigantamax him. So while he does that, I go for a Hyper Potion on Pringle. Leon says it's Gigantamax time, and of course he does so. Straight away, looking down on little Yuki like he wants to eat him. But yeah, Charizard uses Max Rockfall for his first Gigantamax turn. Of course, knocking little Yuki down. And making a Sandstorm again. Which is again funny because he's buffeted by it. So I'm going to send in Pringle now. And I'm going to go for Crush Claw with his second move as Gigantamax Airstream, which leaves Pringle on 27 health, which is kind of surprising. And Charizard's speed rose, but Pringle does manage to get in a Crush Claw, which does a bit more chip damage to Charizard, lowering the Charizard's defense as well, while he's buffeted by the Sandstorm. So it's Pringle. So I go for another Crush Claw, knowing that Charizard's faster, and his third Gigantamax turn is Max Rockfall on Pringle, which takes him out. But he gets buffeted again by the Sandstorm. And I'm thinking out what his third turn's going to be, so we go out for sushi. If only. Oh no! Never mind, that was all 3 of his turns left. Okay, then I thought he was going to do his big fire move. Nope, instead he goes for Ancient Power. Oh god, knocking Sushi down to just 12 health. We go for an Aerial Ace, that knocks Charizard down into the yellow now. He's buffeted by the Sandstorm, but so is Sushi, knocking her out. Oh god. And we send out our last standing Pokemon, Biscuit. So instead of attacking, I decide to revive Pringle. Charizard goes for Fire Blast, which of course hits and knocks Biscuit out. Then after quite a few times of switching, reviving and healing, we finally managed to take out Leon's last Pokemon and win ourselves the cup. Thank you for an awesome match, Leon. Hell yeah. So now the question is, can you beat Pokemon Shield with a team of only bird Pokemon? And the answer is, yes, yes you can. It was hard, we had many bumps along the way, but yes, yes you can beat this game using only birds. So yeah, just let me know in the comments below if you want me to do any more challenges and what you thought of this video. It took a while to do it and all the editing and things. I hope you like it, and yeah, till next time, have a good one. Bye bye.